Mr. Nazi. Good morning, trade pros. Welcome to our morning market update for Friday, September 21st, 2018. My name is George Papazov. This is Victoria over here, and Marky. We're in the trading office. We're the mighty team. What's that? Okay, hang on 1 second. I think YouTube's good. YouTube, are you good? Can you see me? Come on, YouTube. Respond. I can't hear you. Yeah, you guys can see me. All right. For a morning market update today, we're going to talk about two things happening. One happens once a quarter. The second thing has happened for the first time in almost 20 years. So let's get started first before we talk about the quad witch event today, as well as the S&P 500 classification rebalance, which is massive. Let's talk about the following. In Asia, Japan's up 0.9%. Hong Kong's up 1.7%. China up 2.5%. As excuse me, as Chinese officials have actually put the foot forward to not only not retaliate the latest round of Donald Trump trade war and tariffs, but to actually reduce tariffs coming into their country for the United States and their top partners. So in a major de-escalation, markets are ripping. There's a lot of bullish rhetoric kind of moving in here. In Europe at midday, London's up 1%, Paris is up 0.8%, Frankfurt's up 0.7%, green across the board in European equities, and that momentum's pulling into or pushing forward into the U.S. session as well. It's the last trading day of the week. All right, futures in the United States, Dow's up 0.3 percentage point, S&P's up 0.2%, and Nasdaq's up 0.3%. I'm a little chilly too. It's cold in here. Yeah, I don't think we paid the heating bill. Nasdaq's up 0.3%. So we're getting a lot of upside, bullish across the board. Essentially, every single market's green except India, and they're green to the tune of almost 1%. All right, crude oil is up 0.6% to 70.74. What's it at now, Marky? All right, now it's 79. Gold's down 0.1%, pretty much flat for the day. Bitcoin up 3.1%, but still under 7,000. Bitcoin's kind of found a nice range between 6,300 to about 6,900, where we are now. All right, 10-year Treasury yields are flat at 3.08%. And today's economic calendar, we have 9:45 PMI composite flash, producer manufacturing index, inflationary type of data. It's not paramount. It's not the most important because next week we do have an FOMC event, but we've already had the CPI data come out and jobs reports. So that's on top of the list, but it could have the potential here to move the markets 15 minutes into the open. 1 p.m. we have Baker Hughes rig count, which is very important for oil traders. That's the supply side of the picture coming out of the United States crude oil production. And that's it. That's all we have on the calendar. 2 events, and then everything else is just volatility. Now, let me tell you about today. Today is quadruple witching. Last Friday, I accidentally said it was quadruple witching. I didn't get too much sleep. This Friday, this is it. It's the third Friday of every quarter month. So it's third Friday of March, third Friday of September, third Friday of December, and third Friday of June. That's the one I forgot. All right. So considering it's the third Friday, here's what happens on quadruple witching. There's 4 witches, each one of them riding on their own broom. Witch number 1 is the expiry of options on indices. Second one's options on stocks. The third one's futures on indices, and the last one's futures on stocks. Not many people know this, but you can actually trade futures on Apple. All right, there's a select few stocks that have futures listed on them. So we have those 4 products expiring simultaneously today. It's guaranteed volatility. Let me give you guys some stats. On quad witching days, Dow is up 66.7% of the time. S&P is up 66.7% of the time. Victoria, you want to know this. NASDAQ is up 71.4% of the time. All right. So there's a little, just buy and close your eyes. That's all you got to do today. There is a positive expectancy. Dow's been up 10 of the last 13 quad witches. However, I wouldn't say just buy and close your eyes. We've already got a lot of upside momentum, so there could be a sell-off. It's not as clear of a sign as if we were neutral. Then I'd say, there's bullishness. But, I mean, you don't have to, even the most amateur new trader looks at this thing and wants to buy it because it's so bullish. And I think that's the first sign that we're going to probably start to correct and pull back a little bit. All right. Volume is up 40% on quadruple witching events on average. The last quadruple witch, it was June 15th, and the trading volume on the S&P 500 jumped 75% versus the previous month. Huge increase in volume. All right. So you're going to have a lot of volume. 3.5 billion shares traded on June 15th expiry, the quad witch. A ton of volume, 75% more than the prior month. So what causes all this volatility? There's a lot of traders that have different jobs in the industry that have to do the same thing and the same mission, and that's to rebalance, to close out expiring options positions. All right. You got fund managers rolling their contracts forward. A lot of the rolls already happened on the future side, but today is technically the last day. All right. So rolling forward from people who have positions who expire September that want to put the position on until then December. There's that. There's option strategies that are being unraveled. If you got any diagonal spreads or anything that involves front month to later on months, you're going to have to unravel the front month part of it, roll forward. All right, there's arbitrage guys that look to exploit these inefficiencies that volatility creates. There's just a ton of people in the market. Delta hedging, gamma hedging, all right, options that are expiring, and you need to know whether you're going to sign or not. There's just everybody is showing up to trade for different reasons. And when everyone shows up to trade for different reasons, new traders, experienced traders, money managers, professionals, whatever it is, they trade against each other and not with each other. And when that happens, it's not as much of a sentiment-driven market as it is, I just got to get my position accomplished. I need to offload 1,000 options contracts. When am I going to do it? And then that's the problem, is that on a day like today, the way you need to change your strategies to take profit quicker. If you look at a nice trend and everything looks like it's going to break out and you have two handles, 8 ticks of profit on your futures trade, and you're saying this thing looks like it's going to go another 10 points, I don't care what it looks like. Take your 2 points, walk away, because the more likely it looks like a breakout, the more likely it is going to be a head fake. So today, careful on breakout trades. Look for some good support levels to get long off of. In the morning, you got to try the long side. It's very bullish. And at some point, I think you got to start moving to the short side. So this is the way markets typically work. Morning, the first hour, you have the initial balance, pullback or retrace at 10:30 Eastern. That's the reversal hour. Going into the close of European session until about 2:30. From 2:30 to 4, you get a massive rip to the upside. I do think today we close on new highs. I think we get nachos today. New highs on the close. We're going to serve a nice plate of nachos with some juicy cheese on it. Can't wait. All right, it's going to be a lot of fun. So your strategy today is take profit quicker and don't go out there looking for big gains. If you get them, great. But I've never seen anyone take a 10-handle winning trade without getting the first 2. And I think today, when you have your first 2, you got to think long and hard about whether or not you want to leave that trade on. What I would advise is take more of your profit earlier. And if you want to leave a runner, great. But the runner shouldn't be a large portion of your total size. If you're putting on 3 of the SPUs, take 2 at 8 ticks and leave 1 running and trail the stop. That's kind of how I would approach it. Now, be patient. Spend extra time qualifying your trades. That's what you need on a quad witch event. Very volatile, lots of volume. Be warned. It ain't going to be easy, but it's going to be fun. And there's going to be a lot of opportunity. Last but not least, the second item on today's agenda that's really big is the following. The SP 500 index occasionally gets rebalanced. And the last time it's been rebalanced this way, the whole composition of it, there's stocks that get moved in and out of categories, but the categories themselves and the sectors don't change often. Today, it's going to change for the first time since 1999, and it's a big change. Here's what's going to happen. So currently, and I got to look at my notes on this because I don't remember these percentages, the existing structure is telecom services make up 2% of the entire S&P 500 index. Information technology, IT, is 25% of the index. So what's happening is in the IT sector, there's a lot of the Google stocks, Facebook, and a lot of the big tech names. Those are being pulled out of the IT category, all right? That's going to decrease from 25 to 20%, and they're getting put into communication services. That's called the telecom services. They're rebranding, renaming it to communication services. That's now going to represent 10% versus 2%. All the big names that have been driving market gains are now going into the communication services sector or section of the S&P 500 index, which means the following. If you're a long-term money manager who wants to invest in predominantly in the tech sector, you're going to have to rotate out of this old legacy IT category and rotate into comm services. And to do that, it's going to take you time to move your whole position, especially if you're a passive index. You know what I mean? So if you're saying, I want to get an ETF on this part of the index, ETFs are going to have to roll a lot of this. Institutional managers and long-term portfolio holders are going to have to roll a lot of this. And that's really the only massive implication. but that's going to create volume and volatility, and that's happening on a quad witch Friday. So expect even more of this today. All right. What's the net change overall? I found this interesting. The current 25% composition that's IT at the moment, that's now going to call the legacy category. Earnings per share is 9%. Post removal of these companies goes down to 8%. The price to earnings is 18.4 times multiple. It's going to go down to 17.5. All right. And the total yield is going to increase, but you're going to have technology stocks that have lower growth potential. All right. So they're removing the growth out of that sector and plunking into communication services. You need to know this. This is a big change in the industry. Goldman Sachs sent out a note yesterday that I read, and they said, what was their? I didn't put that note in there. They basically said that it's going to result in a lot more interest in that new sector and a removal of volume from the IT sector. So what you could do is get long the tech comm sector or the communication services and short IT for a nice trade opportunity for the next 1 to 2 weeks. It's not going to happen immediately, this rebalance. That's what I got for you guys today. I hope you've enjoyed it. There's probably a lot of info that's new to you today. Quad witching is the day where the 4 instruments expire at the same time. The one thing you need to know about the quad witch is this. The biggest volatility, the quad witch hour, as it's called, is 3 p.m. Eastern to 4 p.m. Eastern, the last hour of the close, because it's the last hour of the last day, and that's when real volatility comes out. So if you're trading that late today, be super careful in that hour. If you're scalping or doing some kind of quick trading, log into that hour today on a Friday, trade till 4 p.m. There's going to be huge opportunity there. If you like more of a patient trade, more trend-based, you're not scalping, you're not really super active on the intraday level, you don't need to be part of that. Just leave the office, make some money by noon, and get the heck out of here. That's one of the beauties of our jobs. That's what I'm going for. You guys have yourself a great day. No matter how you choose to trade, what you choose to trade, manage your risk, trade like a trade pro. Remember the rule. Take most of your profit early. Feel free to trail some, but it shouldn't be the majority of your position. See you guys on Monday. Have yourself a great weekend. Hope you had a great trading week. We certainly have in the trading room. It's been fun, and a lot of our team, you know what breadth is, the size of the people participating. A lot of the people on our team have been doing good. I'm incredibly proud of them in the trading room. So here's our last day in the trading room. I'm going to turn around, open up the room, set some levels, next best trades, and we'll rock on the opening bell. Take care, guys. Have a good weekend. Thanks for tuning in. Vic, anything else? Broadcast message server error. That's what Victorio said. Don't know what it means. Sometimes Victorio's just kidding, Vicky. All right, guys, take care. What's that? I think the internet's out. Well, that's not good. I'm going to be trading 30 lots today. That's no good. All right, trade pros, let me draw some levels for you. Let's set up the next best trades. I added some really nice, neat new features to my charting system. I'm going to explain to you very quickly. But first, let's draw some trade ideas and levels here for today's session.